Dreams of Life. Michael Saylor is an American entrepreneur and business executive. He was born in 1965 in Lincoln. The childhood of the future entrepreneur took place in a military town. The child was mostly left to himself. He dreamed of becoming a rock musician and conquering the world. But then he did not yet know that singers do not earn much money on the stage. Living the dream of becoming a rock musician, Michael began to look in the direction of flying. He dreamed of becoming a pilot or an astronaut. But the stellar plans were not destined to come true. The boy suffered from heart problems. It is noteworthy that at a more adult age, the diagnosis was refuted. As it turned out, everything was for the best. The guy chose a line of activity that brought him huge income and recognition. Teaching is light. Michael finished school normally, without any special distinctions. After that, he immediately entered college, but studying at this institution did not bring him pleasure. After graduating from college, Saylor decides to enter the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. During his studies, the future entrepreneur focuses on technology, aeronautics, and astronautics. Upon graduation, he receives diplomas in 2 specialties at once. First, work. What to do immediately after receiving documents on education. Test the acquired knowledge in practice. So in 1987, Michael got his first job. It was the consulting firm, the Federal Group. The future entrepreneur chose the main field of activity, simulation modeling. He has worked on projects targeting software integration companies. Abrupt change of mind. At the first job, Saylor worked for only a year. He wanted more and decided to move on. Already in 1988, the enterprising Michael became an internal consultant for DuPont. Here he also worked on the development of computer models. But his main task was to analyze and possible changes of the company in key markets. After working in this direction, Michael realized that he wanted to work for himself. For 2 years, he gained tremendous experience in analytics. It's time to move on and focus on business intelligence software development. Audacious step. Studying at the institute gave a good impetus, and work experience in 2 analytical companies became a good help for founding my own IT company, MicroStrategy. But before doing this, Michael worked for some time as a programmer and received quite high wages for his work. At some point, the future entrepreneur decided that this was not enough. Then he resigns from his position and goes into free swimming. MicroStrategy was founded in 1989 by Michael, along with fellow graduate San Bansal. It is noteworthy that the organization's business immediately went uphill, and already 3 years after its foundation, McDonald's Corporation became the first major client. Audacity, second happiness. After founding his own company, Michael invites his former employer to hire his startup to perform the tasks that he solved as an employee. It would seem how only the audacity to take such a step was enough. But the most interesting thing is that the employer liked such a project, and the contract with DuPont was signed. Michael's former boss will convince the other founders of the company to finance a new project and take the newly minted startup under his wing. The man who lost $6 billion. Saylor became famous for his massive loss. It happened due to a twist of fate. In March 2000, a successful entrepreneur lost a huge profit. In one day, he went from being a leader to illustrating the dot-com collapse. What happened? The market collapsed. The market collapse was so powerful that the company had to revise its financial statements for recent years. Thanks to reporting, Michael entered into contracts with investors, demonstrating to them the level of success of his own organization. The entrepreneur could not understand what caused such a sharp drop in stocks. The company launched an investigation. This issue was taken up by the US Securities and Exchange Commission. As a result, the case ended in a pre-trial settlement. Saylor and 2 other managers had to pay a $10 billion fine. Resilience in all situations. Business is always risky. Michael knew this very well. He did not blame anyone for any failures, and he always said only one phrase: any loss is not significant. This phrase fully reflected the internal state of the entrepreneur. Michael knew that any financial issue can be solved. Regardless of the state and success of the company, the leader has always shown resilience and confidence, even in those situations when hard times came for his organization. An unreasonable fine is not a reason to lose heart. In 2000s, the Washington newspaper estimated the entrepreneur's total fortune at $7 billion. In the same year, the company faced its first problems. When providing financial statements, inaccuracies were made. This question was of great interest to the US Commission. As a result, the problem was eliminated. But in order to settle the dispute with the competent financial authority, a fine had to be paid. Michael did everything he could, but he pleaded not guilty. This is the most embarrassing moment in the life of an entrepreneur. Own book. MicroStrategy has been actively developing. Michael didn't stand still either. In 2012, the book appeared, Mobile Wave: How Mobile Intelligence Will Change Everything. Saylor's mission was to show the world the value of mobile technology. The entrepreneur made a bias on the fact that the correct implementation of mobile technologies contributes to the harmonious development of any areas, including trade, healthcare, and education. The book took pride of place among the bestsellers of 2021 and was included in 2 categories at once: nonfiction and business books. A long break and loud performance, MicroStrategy continued its free existence. It evolved, attracted new investors, and developed business intelligence products. Michael worked on his own project and rarely appeared in public. The first loud statement from the entrepreneur was made in 2020. Just during the active phase of the spread of coronavirus, Michael reacted sharply negatively to the need for social distancing and economic hibernation. More than 2,000 MicroStrategy employees received letters critical of the authorities. Compliance with the requirements set by the authorities promised serious economic problems. Michael didn't agree to the terms. MicroStrategy and cryptocurrency. MicroStrategy has a market capitalization of around $1.3 billion in 2020. What does Michael decide to do? He announces the purchase of cryptocurrency. The company is purchasing 21,454 bitcoins, worth about $250 million. MicroStrategy is the first company to place capital in Bitcoin. As Saylor explained, he decided to take such a step for a reason. In his opinion, Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency in the world. Moreover, Michael considers it a reliable store of value and an attractive investment asset. The one-time purchase of Bitcoin was not the only one. In 2022, the company purchased another 129,600 bitcoins, worth over $2.5 billion. Michael is actively campaigning for the public to buy cryptocurrency. He believes that storing money in Bitcoin in the new realities is the safest way to save money. The main bias on Bitcoin, Michael began to actively promote the need to buy Bitcoin. He not only bought cryptocurrencies for his company, but also encouraged other companies to do so. The founder of MicroStrategy is fully focused on Bitcoin. He began to develop his own strategies and explain the benefits of buying a currency for the other lines of business. Michael emphasized that keeping money in Bitcoin is an opportunity to save money as well as receive passive income. In 2020, Saylor made an open announcement that all personal savings, as well as company capital, would be transferred to Bitcoin. He also emphasized that every technology company should decide on such a step. Abrupt change of activity after 33 years. In August 2022, Saylor stepped down as CEO of his own company. He transferred his powers to Phong Le. What is Michael doing today? He decided to completely go into the topic of cryptocurrency. The entrepreneur focused on developing a financial strategy, including the further possibility of buying Bitcoin. Here he is, Michael Saylor, a person who has come a long way from a programmer to the founder of a company. And in just one day, leaving his post in favor of working on financial strategy and working with Bitcoin.